Before I even get started with this first episode, I want to say one thing. I think this will be the most important episode for people to start, come back to, and blah, because I feel like it sets the whole scene for the rest of the videos. One thing I want to state is that a lot of what I'm going to say is probably going to tie into each other. One thing I've noticed, big thing I've noticed from life and philosophy and my own philosophy and wisdom in general is that it all ends up tying back into each other like one gigantic puzzle. So a lot of things do sound just similar to what other people say because honestly, we're all one energy, right? So at the end of the day, this is just going to be me dropping maybe deep/not deep comments about my own life and just dropping the wisdom. Yeah, from an old soul, man. I thought it would the idea from the series I tried to explain in that first episode, first pre-episode. It's not the actual official 12 days, and give it like a general of where the video idea came from. It didn't go as all things that I try to completely structure really well. It didn't go too well, so whatever. We got this now. But to preface this, I just want to say that if you're tapping into this, it's going to get somewhat maybe metaphysical at some parts and maybe not. I don't know if I rush right into it or I just save the really crazy, insane stuff for the end. But another thing I want to also just throw out there right now is that you should not regret the things that you've went through already within life. With videos like this, I don't know if I've ever seen someone in the past mention that in the beginning, saying that what they could tell their younger self if they could is because to me, when I seen those videos, it kind of felt like a little bit of regret because I do believe that everything happens for a reason. So you go through what you go through because it's going to build your character. And really, honestly, these videos end up being for other people who, if they're young, hopefully they click onto your video and learn from your mistakes. But everyone has their own path, right? And also, that too, don't want to view everything as mistakes. At least for my life, a lot of the things that I chose to do weren't necessarily mistakes, more from just saving me a lot of trouble in the end, I would say. Which also, if I didn't have some of these certain events happen, I may not have been the person I am. So it's going to be really interesting kind of trying to tie some of these things back into my younger self because, I feel like I didn't do too bad. But, man, was it a movie. But other than that, let's get started with this first episode. Like I said, I'm going to preface this by saying it may get a little crazy by the end. We don't know. It tends to get a little crazy on this side when you're tapping into this frequency. And yeah, man. Yeah. The first thing I have written down, because I have 12 things that are basically giving me like the rough draft I wrote for this, is following your heart. Now, about 40 minutes ago, I shot Following Your Heart, and it was going good, but I don't think I nailed it as much as I want to. Another thing I'm going to challenge myself to do is keep these short because, I could stretch things to an hour. I don't want to do that because I just get into rambling. But it didn't go so well, and I'm going to try again because I want to really get to the nitty-gritty, dark and deep details of what following your heart is like. But honestly, it's almost like hard to explain for person to person because it also involves other aspects, not just your heart, but your heart is the big factor. Your feelings are the big factor, to be honest with you. But that's pretty much what I mean is for this, following your heart is like following your passions and the things you like that I would say that, God, this talk of bad and good, that keep you, the things you like that keep you out of, I don't know if I can say harm's way, because I mean, if you're following your heart, it makes you like a skydiver, and you just got to skydive every goddamn weekend and your chances. No, but when I first shot it, it was basically talking about follow your heart in terms of you. Trust me, if you're young watching this video, you don't have to be the person who goes out there to do exactly what their parents are laying the foundation for. You really need to wake up to the fact that you're here to do what you're here to do. And great parents would definitely agree with this, that you lay the foundation for that kid to blossom into whatever they're going to blossom into. And you guide them along the way, not completely sheltering them so they don't get bumps and bruises along the road, but you guide them in a way where you keep them out of harm's way, of course. You know, show them the rough and rugged turf of the world while also allowing them to pave their own way. And, you know, and also just being a great role model and leading by example, and not having to try to tell someone or force a bunch of hope down their throat where they succeed where you didn't. You know, I believe it's best to literally just, you know, even erase the notion of succeed where you didn't, and still in your older years, if you can, get up and show that passion or show that you never give up, so that they take that quality from you. And that goes in tying back into the following your heart. Like I said, this is going to go on different roads, but following your heart is really knowing when to make a decision that, and maybe at the time you might not even know the decision you're going to make, but it's really making a decision based on how you feel, but a high level of controlling your emotions, how you feel. So that could also be a topic in the follow your heart thing, is having control of your emotions and not letting them control you. That is a big thing among, first of all, I want to say, at least from what I've come to see, black people. Black folk, freaking Nick, you know what I'm saying? It is definitely a thing among black people. You need to be able to control your emotions. And it's just, for anyone, it's a big thing. I feel like for men especially, it's just, you know, honestly, like, for me growing up, I wore my heart on my sleeve. So, you know, you would always just know what I think or feel, and, you know, and I say it unapologetically, which in one light, it's a good thing. Like, I say what I feel, and but I was also built up that, like, I had to take a lot on my shoulders. So it's kind of like, I guess I got the balance of, like, what it is to be a man. Like, hey, shovel that shit. No one cares. We got to move forward. But wearing your heart on your sleeve, but being emotionally controlled, is not overreacting to situations, being really reactionary. Like, something drops, reactionary. This happens, reactionary. Like, I remember back in the day, people would literally ask me, how am I so calm when certain things happen? You know, like, people get so offended. Like, I feel like one of the biggest, this is turning into control your emotions over following your heart, but maybe I'll save this for another video. But man, I used to get called the N-word with a hard ER straight to my face by certain people, and nothing, man. It's like water. It like rolls off. And those people have literally visibly, verbally, maybe mentally, have changed based on my reaction. Because you take away the power from people who try to get you to react by just not playing the game. And I've known this by a young age, but I think I knew that because of also the way I was traumatized when I was younger. If y'all ever want to hear that story, let me know. But it was pretty crazy. I have an interesting start than most people, but to the whole human experience. But yeah, so I just couldn't react, because to me, I still see life as just this gigantic game. But when it comes down and boils down to following your heart, it's really like you cannot, and I'm telling you, you're gonna suffer. Like, I'm gonna say this to throw logic in there, so people don't immediately come with the argument that it's like, oh, you know, excuse, or circumstance has it that I can't do this. I'm gonna say this. Let's throw some logic in there. If you have a door, or you see a door that's open, do not miss it, bro. That is the door that is literally being opened by your heart. If you have an opportunity to do something that you know you want to do not let any outside factors dictate that choice. That shit better be dictated by your heart. A controlled one at that. Don't be all in your feelings. No, feel a fire within you to run through that door head first. And what I say when I say that the whole circumstance is excuse, but I'll say circumstance isn't an excuse because some people are in serious circumstances. But where there's a will, there's a way, man. And I feel like you can get out of any. I just do because I've done it. So it's like from experience, it's hard to even agree to that. But let's say I agree to that. If circumstances were not the problem here, not the obstacle you had to get over, do not keep working a job you don't like. Follow your heart. If your heart is telling you, yo, I need to leave this, like, I'm just being pulled in a different direction, and you have every means to go through that door, take the risk. Take the jump. And see, and as I'm saying certain things, they're going to sound like other episodes I have planned because risk taking. But you have to take the leap. And literally life is a game. Who cares about what anybody says? Because it's like this, right? I'm still fighting this thing. I made a video long ago on a different channel about backdrop people. And here we go, getting into a little metaphysical part. And truthfully, right, I do believe a lot of people out there are real. But I do feel like there's a good portion of people who don't have souls and are kind of just people that fill in the world to either test you or just serve as like NPCs. After that trend started, oh man, it went out the window of what it originally, never mind. I'm not going to get into that right now, but let's say bots, right? If you're at a job, right, or like whatever, it could be your family, it could be friends, it could be whatever, and your heart is telling you to make a decision that to you, like your brain starts going off like, oh, we shouldn't do this because we're going to lose this person. Oh, we shouldn't do this because they're going to think a certain way. Oh, we're going to do this. Or you even share that dream, which, that's going to be a video. That's one of the things I can think for a younger self, do not do for me in my case. But I think I'll get to that in the second video because I feel very strongly on that, but for a number of reasons. But say you share it and then the doubt comes. People are saying, no, why would you do that? Like, what about your job? What about this? What about, aren't you worried about your safety? What about your well-being? What about this? Every excuse in the book. And you're starting to get in your head. That's what I mean by following your heart. If your heart is wading through that, man, if it's taking the brunt of all of this stuff and it's still telling you to go for it, if you don't take the risk, you are just a hindrance to yourself. That, to me, is what selling your soul looks like. At least an aspect of it. You're selling a part of your soul if you don't chase it. It doesn't matter, and that's what I'm saying. With everything I know about consciousness, I'm going to say that circumstance doesn't matter. Your circumstances can change overnight. Truthfully, if people are scared to lose a job or transfer jobs, well, you never know. You could walk out tomorrow and die. I'm just saying. So I don't like to say circumstance, but to throw in logic and not just sound like a goddamn fairy, say circumstances were tougher. Well, you need to win. Maybe you've heard this before, but you need to win in every little chance you get. You need to follow your heart in every little small increment that you can, whether it be choices. That's what they pretty much are. Choices, everyday life. You got to be able to follow it little by little, because consistency and keeping the ball rolling like a snowball, the snowball effect, it's going to compound over time, and you're going to trust yourself. You're going to build a lot of trust with yourself following your heart too. And I think that also builds a sense of intuition within the person. It builds up the intuition. But you're just going to know a lot more what's for you and what's not for you. And following your heart will guide you to many things. First of all, the place you're supposed to be at in your life, the people that are supposed to be around you, and the things that you're supposed to be experiencing. So following your heart, I think, is a really good opener to the series, because it's just like it's such a broad thing of like playing a factor in everything, but it's like it's basically like we can just change the words to believe in yourself, because it takes heart to believe in yourself. Everything goes back to the heart chakra, and that's why I really emphasize the heart chakra in a lot of things that I put up. You know, even saying that I'm the master of it, it's like you need to be the master of your heart chakra. And I think with that, that's a really good place to stop, because I don't want these to be too long, but you know, I'm gonna get carried away because I keep going forever. But we're gonna get into the next one. The next one, what was it that I said just like a couple minutes ago? What's the next one I definitely got to get into? Oh, I know it. I know it, and I'm gonna see you there for it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. And seriously, you need to follow your heart. Don't get too old and realize this. If you're still young, or you're younger than me, I'm 23. If you're like 18 or you're just getting into the world, you need to follow your heart. And if you're anywhere younger than that, and this video gets to you, or this series too, follow it, man. It's not dumb. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That's it. We got a lot to talk about in these other ones. Peace.
Hey, there's nothing more for you here. This is the end of the video. Now, you can either subscribe, or you can leave, or you can stay and subscribe. Or this will be the last time we meet, or maybe not. Maybe we're meeting again. Maybe you just decided to let the video play all the way through. Maybe I don't want to think about that. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out of here.